Welcome back to Beyond Wisdom, where we explore timeless truths for a more peaceful and meaningful life. Marcus Aurelius was not just a Roman emperor. He was a quiet warrior of the mind, someone who ruled not just over an empire, but over his own thoughts. His personal writings, now known as meditations, were never meant for the world. They were notes to himself, reminders to stay clear, kind, and resilient in a world full of noise. And yet, almost 2,000 years later, these reflections still speak to us. Because the problems of the mind haven't changed much. Stress, distraction, fear, ego. They wore different clothes back then, but they lived in the same house. Today, we explore 3 mental habits Marcus Aurelius practiced, not as a philosopher sitting in comfort, but as a leader facing war, illness, and betrayal. These habits still work. They are deeply human, incredibly grounding, and quietly powerful. Number 1. The strength in pausing before judgment. One of Marcus's most frequent reminders to himself was this: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In today's world, we react quickly. A comment on social media, a frustrating coworker, a change in plans. We jump to conclusions, attach stories, and spiral into emotions. But Marcus practiced something different. He trained himself to pause, even for a moment, before letting his thoughts take over. He saw judgment as optional, something we can delay, something we can soften. If someone insulted him, he'd ask, is this truly harmful, or just words? If something felt unfair, he'd examine his reaction first, not the event. This wasn't passivity. It was power. Because once you slow down your judgment, you give your mind space to respond instead of react. Imagine a day where every frustration had to wait just 5 seconds before entering your mind. That's the space Marcus lived in. It doesn't take a robe or temple. Just one breath between stimulus and story. Number 2. Returning to the present moment. Marcus faced wars on the empire's borders, a plague sweeping through Rome, and personal losses that would break most of us. Yet, again and again, he returned to a simple practice, bringing the mind back to now. In Meditations, he wrote, "Do not let your imagination be crushed by life as a whole. Stick with the present." He understood that fear lives in the future, regret in the past, but presence, quiet attention to what is right here, is where we regain our strength. Even today, when stress builds up, most of it comes from our minds living somewhere else, worrying about what might happen, replaying what already has. Marcus reminded himself that all he ever truly had was this moment, this task, this breath, this step. He even trained his mind to see each day as a complete life in itself, a kind of mini-life, lived fully. That habit alone can change everything. Because if you stop borrowing fear from the future and stop clinging to the past, you meet reality on its own terms. And reality is usually much softer than our thoughts about it. Number 3. Practicing voluntary discomfort. This one might sound strange in the age of comfort, but it's one of Marcus's most powerful teachings. He believed that avoiding discomfort makes us weaker, not just physically, but mentally. So he would remind himself not to seek luxury, not to chase pleasure, and not to fear hardship. In fact, he trained his mind to welcome difficulty because it built inner strength. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action, What stands in the way becomes the way. This wasn't suffering for suffering's sake. It was preparation. Like lifting weights for the mind. Today, that might mean choosing the harder conversation instead of staying silent. Waking up early, even when comfort tempts us to stay in bed. Going for a walk without headphones. Choosing presence over distraction. Marcus believed that discipline is freedom. Because when you can endure discomfort on your own terms, you're less afraid of whatever life throws at you. You're not waiting for life to be easy. You're ready for life as it is. The wisdom of Marcus Aurelius wasn't loud. It wasn't about controlling others or building an empire of wealth. It was about ruling the one kingdom that truly matters, the kingdom within. And in that kingdom, he practiced 3 quiet disciplines: pausing before judgment, returning to the present, and strengthening his character through chosen discomfort. These are not heroic acts in the modern sense, but they are acts of quiet, daily strength. The kind of strength that doesn't need to be seen, just lived. And maybe that's what makes Marcus's wisdom last. Not because it's ancient, but because it's real. Which of Marcus Aurelius's mental habits feels most needed in your life right now? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching. If this video brought you value, subscribe to Beyond Wisdom. Until next time, stay calm, stay strong, and stay wise.